I got a call from the mayor of a small town out in West Virginia, about 10 miles from Harper's Ferry. He said, Ollie, we've got something strange going on out here, and I hear that you're just the guy, well, the octopus, to talk to about strange things. I said, well, yeah, I've dealt with a lot of strange things. What's going on with you? He said, well, I'm the mayor out here in Purbersville. And, well, some of our trees have taken to walking around. I said, your trees? He said, yes. Some of the trees, maybe about 50 or so. Yeah, they walk sometimes during the day and sometimes during the night. And it's unsettling, to say the least. Trees are not supposed to walk. And it's unclear what they're trying to do. They're just walking kind of around. I mean, it's not like they're menacing anybody really, other than the fact that a tree walking around is kind of scary. You know, they're not banging on windows or anything like that, but it's weird. People are freaked out. So I was hoping you might be able to come and figure out what's going on. Well, I said, all right, well, that's something sort of thing that could take a couple of days. So I assume you saw my rates online? I said, oh yeah, that's all fine. People will be happy to pay that to get this weirdness, at least explained, if not, settled. I said, all right, well, I've got most of next week free. I can come out. Is that soon enough? I said, well, if that's what you got, that's what we'll take. Do you need, travel reimbursement? I said, yeah, I actually don't drive, so I will, looks like I can take the train out to where you are. So, yeah, I'll just include that in my invoice. Perfect. I'll make sure there's somebody that can take you where you need to go once you get here. So, Ollie went down there Sunday night. And they picked one of the mayor's helpers, a guy named Jeb. Picked Ollie up at the train station. He took him to the hotel. I said, "Oh, you're gonna like this hotel. It's a nice place. It's run by my sister-in-law, and it's just really cute. They just did a nice job. It used to be a mansion. Like some rich person had it. I don't know quite that backstory, although she does. But they fixed it all up and made the kitchen bigger so they could serve. Oh, it's just beautiful. You're gonna love it." I said, "All right, that's cool." So nothing much happened the first night. Ollie pretty much got there, talked to Jeb, talked to Jeb's sister-in-law, and then went to bed. But about 3 in the morning, there's a knocking on Ollie's door. And it was Jeb again. Mr. Octopus, some of the trees are walking, and I thought you might want to know. I said, yeah, I do, thank you. Where? As it so happens, right outside the hotel. I said, well, that's handy. Yeah, give me a second, I'll be right out. So they went out. And right there on the street in front of the hotel, can you hold still please, Elsa? It was like a parade of trees were walking by. They were different types of trees, but all about the same size. They were all about, 10 feet tall. Then they had a caliper, a tree diameter of between, say, 3 and 7 inches. And they were just marching down the street. Their roots were all up out of the ground. And they were walking. The roots, each one of them has sort of grouped its roots into a bundle, into 2 big bundles. And was using them as legs. And it wasn't like you could see where the trees were looking. They wasn't like organized into eyes or anything, but they were all just going in one direction. I said, that's the darndest thing. Do they always take the same route? Jeff said, well, yeah, pretty much actually. They pretty much walk. They come out from the forest over there. You can see it, see about a mile up the street. I said, I can't really tell in the dark, but I believe there's a forest there. Right. Anyway, so they come down this street, and they walk over by that new shopping center. They walk around that, and then they come up along the sort of green space next to the railroad tracks. That's how they come back. I said, huh. So they're just at the beginning of their route right now. I said, yeah, they are. They are. Has anyone ever, followed them the whole way? I said, well, I have. You should. It's a strange thing. I said, all right. Do they notice when people are paying attention to them? It's hard to tell if they notice, but they don't seem to change their pattern. If you get in their way, they'll just keep walking and shove you out of the way. They kind of do what they do, and they're not really interested in what anybody else is doing. Well, what any people are doing, I guess I mean. I said, huh. So we started walking along next to them. They looked like normal trees. Just like the guy said, they went down the street, went around the new shopping center, and then walked back up. There's like a long green strip alongside the train tracks at the edge of town. When they got back around, they went into the forest, and that's where it was really weird looking, as Jeb had said. Well, I followed them with a flashlight, and when they got back into the forest, they all found the part of the woods that they'd come from, and the roots just like wiggled their way back into the dirt. The whole tree just sort of pulled itself back in, and then it went still, like it had never been moving. When you looked at it, other than some spots around where the dirt was all, disturbed, you would never know. You would never think that tree just walked 2 miles around town. It was real weird. Well, I saw the first couple wanted to do that, and it occurred to him, he didn't know when they were going to do it next. He had to do some experiments now. So he ran up to one of them, and he started trying to talk to it. He said, hey, excuse me, tree, are you a person? And the tree didn't respond. What's going on? Why are you walking around, tree? The tree didn't respond. I knocked on the wood. Hello? Hello, is anybody in there? The tree didn't respond. I tried to get in its way, to dig in and push against it, but it was too strong. Just pushed Ollie out of the way and kind of stepped over him. I said, huh. He tried that with a few more of the trees and got a similar kind of response, which is to say no real response. Just like Jeb had said, they didn't seem to care that Ollie was there. Once they'd all settled back in and Ollie had seen everything that he thought he could see, he went back to his hotel and went to bed. In the morning he got up and sought out the mayor. He said, well, I saw him last night. Oh, you did? That's good, that's helpful. Yeah, it's hard to tell when they're going to show up. I haven't really found a pattern yet. I said, how long have they been doing this? Gosh, I guess 3-4 weeks ever since, let's see, I guess we noticed it right around the time the shopping center opened. I said, really? Yeah, the shopping center's new. It's been a great, we're really excited about it. We haven't had any of the shops like this for a long time. There's a grocery store in there, and that's nice, and there's a sporting goods store, and what else is in there? The hardware store, a small one, although we had one of those already. And then a couple of boutiques, like a hair salon, things like that. It's not a big deal. I know it's just a shopping center, but it's nice to see somebody reinvesting in the town again. I said, huh. But it started when the shopping center opened. Yeah, I don't know if it was exactly then, but yeah. I'd say the first time that we saw the trees doing their weird thing was, the day it was the day of the ribbon cutting ceremony. We did the ribbon cutting in the morning, and then in that afternoon, these trees came marching down the street. And it happens not every day, but I don't know, every other day or so. I said, huh. Where can I find some records about this shopping center, about the history of the spot? Oh, well, I'd say that our public library would be the best resource. Marge there, gosh, her family's lived here in town for who knows how long. I don't know how long. Generation after generation. As long as the town's been here, I think, pretty much. And she's really taken that legacy to heart. She knows the history of everything, I feel like, every person in town. And a new person comes, she learns their history too. She's got an amazing memory. Yeah, you should go talk to Marge. She'll know. I know that it had sat vacant for a long time, but I don't remember what was there before. So I went to the library. When it opened to 9:30. I said, "Hey, I'm looking for Marge." And the lady said, "Well, you found her. I'm Marge." I said, "Well, I hear you know more about the history of this town than anybody." "Oh, people do talk. That's nice to hear. But yeah, I do know a lot, I suppose. I don't know about more than anybody." I said, "Well, I'm mostly curious about the new shopping center." "Oh, yeah, that's a big deal. Big deal to have these new fancy shops in here. I mean, it's cute. We have the tourist stuff. The hotel like you're probably staying at." I said, "Yeah. And the hiking store, that's nice. And the hardware store. But the point is, it's exciting. Not a lot of news happened here in a while." I said, "All right, so tell me about what else has been there." "Oh, on the site of the shopping center." "Well, it's been parkland for a long time. And I know it sounds bad to be excited about parkland being turned into a shopping center, but the thing is, we have a lot of parkland. And that spot it's fine, but there wasn't anything really built there. It was just a big green space. And yeah, we have other parkland. We've got lots of, there's like the playground, just a few blocks from there actually. But then as soon as you go outside of the main town, there's Minahoo State Park right there. There's a couple of city parks. There's the picnic grounds and the campgrounds. There's lots of green space. It's not like in the city where the green space is so precious. We love our green space, but it was fine to put a building there." I said, "All right, but why?" "Okay, but yeah, that makes sense. But who owned it? Well, who was there before?" "Oh, well, let's see. Who owned it? That's an interesting question. Let me take a look." She flipped through and said, "Oh, we got here, the property records for the county. Well, it says here that it was owned by the county. And, oh, that's interesting. Oh, they sold it because they won a lawsuit. Yeah, that's got to be it. So just about 2 years ago, the county won a lawsuit against a local Native American group. The lawsuit said that, yeah, the county could sell it and for development." I said, can I see the court case?" "Oh, this is the court case." He saw something he was beginning to suspect. That the reason that the Native American group didn't want the land sold off or developed was that they had believed that there was a burial site there, all the way back to when their ancestors, were in charge of the land. And the attorney for the Native American group had said that this is a sacred site, a burial site, and it's inappropriate to build anything on there. It needed to just stay open land, and that the cultural consequences could be huge, and he didn't know what else might happen. And I thought, well, what if it's ghosts? So I found out which group it was, which group of Native Americans, and he called them up. He said, "Hey, I was wondering about this site in Burnsville." I said, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, we fought hard, but we lost. I don't know what's happening there now." I said, "Well, here's the thing. local trees seem to be staging a protest. They march out of the forest, march around the shopping center, and then go back to the forest. Oh, that's a new one on me. I said, what do you think we could do? Let's take the assumption that they're upset ghosts possessing the trees as a protest. I said, well, that certainly does sound like one thing that I might do if I were a ghost mad about someone building a shopping center on my burial site. Well, I guess if that was me buried there, I'd want it to be recognized at least, and I'd want some of the proceeds from the sale and from the rent of the land to go to support, my children and my children's children and things like that. I said, that makes sense, but it could be a hard sell. How can we convince them? Like, well, you said they don't pay you any mind. They don't pay anybody from the town any mind. But if it is our ancestor spirits, I bet they'll notice us. We'll come out, see if we can communicate with the trees. Sounds crazy, but, it's worth a shot. We can come out this weekend. I said, all right. So I headed back to Baltimore after making the appointment with the Native American group. They met up there that Saturday. All right, we can stay here until the trees come. Then Jeb came riding up on a bicycle and said, you don't have to wait. Here they come. The trees again started marching out of the forest. The leader of the group said we should meet them at the shopping center, right at the border. So off they went. Ollie, Jeb, the mayor, and the Native American group. When the trees came, the Native American guys and girls went out to meet them. They said something in their native language to the trees, and the trees all lined up. They didn't keep marching. They did pause and wait. The mayor saw it. The owner of the shopping center, he saw it. The county commissioner, he saw it. Everybody saw it. And the Native American group came and talked to the trees. The trees listened. The trees didn't say anything back. But then the trees started walking again, and the Native American group, they all walked with him. They walked around the shopping center a couple of times. And they walked with him back to the forest. Ollie and the mayor and the other folks waited politely for them, figuring they'd come back. Indeed they did. A little bit later, they came back and said, well, I think you all saw what we saw. We decided to take a walk with our ancestors. But now, you're the ones who need to take a walk with the ancestors. The mayor said, what do you mean? I said, well, we think that if you honor the people who are buried here, with remembering them and acknowledging them, and using some of the money that this place makes to support the tribe, that the trees will stop their protest. Well, they had to talk about that, had to debate about that, had to figure out what was appropriate. And it was actually not a short process, so the trees marched many more times. But they struck a deal. And they named the shopping center after the tribe. And they did set aside a chunk of money from the sale, from the county, when the county sold the land. They decided that money should all go to education, the tribe. And then a portion of the profit from the site every month went to the tribe. And that's the deal that they proposed, and the Native Americans said, that's fine, except you can just give us the money to do with as we see fit. Kind of parcel it out and tell us what to do with that money. And they agreed. And when the deal was signed, when the first payment came through, the trees all came and gathered around. And then they marched back into the forest. And from then on, once a year, on the anniversary of the opening day, the trees came. And then everyone was excited about it. And that is the story of Ollie and the walking trees.